Hi, everyone. This is Jenny Westerkamp from All Access Internships, and this is the saddest webinar of all time. So we are going to talk about what to do if you don't get matched. This is one of those things where yesterday, match day, was like two different emotions, either super, super happy or super, super sad. And we want to support both of those groups. And that's why we're doing this webinar today, to just give you some ideas of what to do next and how to handle this. And then just know that you do have options, you do have things that you can do, and you don't have to give up on your dreams of becoming a dietitian. When I was looking at the Facebook group, we have a private Facebook group, Dietetics Students Support Group, and I was looking on there, and it was really encouraging, actually, just to see different people chime in when people were saying, like, who else didn't get matched, and they were saying, like, I tried 2-3 times, and it was, on my third attempt that I finally got in. So people do apply multiple times, and they don't give up, and they are successful and become dietitians as a result. So let me, I'm just making sure there's no sound issues. If you guys could just make sure, or just say that you can hear me in the chat box. I always get so nervous that the sound is an issue. So let me just, okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm like, I never know. Is anyone out there? Okay, so with the different options, I'm going to go in terms of like what you can do right now versus what you can do over the next few months, and just to figure out your game plan. So we'll start here with the most, I guess, timely option, which is the second round of matching. Now, to explain this, programs will have put all their applicants on a list, and they might not have put all their applicants on a list. So we'll just say, like, Massachusetts General Hospital. Okay, that's where I went. So I'm using that as an example. Let's say they got 100 applicants, and they said, okay, you know what, we only want 50. We only want 50 of these applicants. So that's the list that we're going to send to D&D Digital. And then Mass General will then go through the matching process, and they'll fill up their spots. But let's say they fill up only like 8 of their 10 spots because they didn't have anyone else on their list that they could have taken because they all got matched somewhere else. So now they have 2 empty spots left. They can put those spots up for second round match. And there's programs all across the country. They could obviously do this, but it is really dependent on, year to year, how many spots are available and what programs have spots. So it's impossible for me to predict what will be available, but you'll be able to sign on to D&D Digital on April 7th at 11 a.m. Central Time and see what is available. ISPE programs will also be on that list, but I'm going to talk about ISPEs in a second. So, just thinking about just the conventional dietetic internships, those will be listed. And then usually you apply through DICAS for those second round spots, and you want to apply as fast as possible. So usually between April 7th and April 9th, you can't apply any sooner than April 7th, obviously, but programs will not start reviewing applications until April 9th. So that means like you'd want to get in that first round, because what happens is programs will start reviewing, and as soon as they see someone they like, they will accept them. They will offer them a spot. So it's almost like rolling admissions. There's not a match day for second round. So you want to be, as soon as possible, like you want to be considered, immediately versus coming in late and then maybe not having the best chances. Of course, programs can decide how they handle that. So they can say, well, we're going to wait no matter what. We're going to wait until a certain date, like April 22nd or something like that, and then you have more time. But if programs don't really say that, then you'd want to just go and apply as quickly as possible. You also find out quickly if you get a match there. They tend to, again, just sort of take you as they want you. But I mean, I'm trying to, just over the last, I guess, 8 years that I've seen this, spots can really vary for a second round. I've seen like 2 spots available for the whole nation. And I've also seen, 20, 30, 40 spots available. There are a couple programs that are definitely taking second round. I think Ohio University is one, and Priority Nutrition Care Distance Dietetic Internship is also definitely taking second round. So I know that's happening, but we'll see on April 7th what those actual programs are. All right, so that is second round. It's kind of crazy, but hopefully, if you're just ready for it, ready to write a new personal statement and, possibly get different references, those are pretty much the 2 things that you would have to change, and then you would just apply through DICAS. How it was last year is you weren't able to change anything else except that except for the personal statement and references. And then, of course, the program designation you would update and pay the fee, but everything else had to stay the same. All right, just to answer a couple relevant questions on second round, Alicia is saying it's very difficult to get in touch with programs on April 7th. Any suggestions on how to get a hold of them? Yeah, they're going to be swamped with probably hundreds of students wanting to apply to their program. So I think just calling them or, sending an email, I don't know that there's anything special that you can do to get in touch with them. You just hope that they're either posting general information and you go off of that, or, just a phone call or an email is all you can really do. And then how can we prep for the second round? I think I don't think there's anything you can do except if you think you want to do a distance dietetic internship that has openings, then you can start to look for preceptors, which I will talk about that later on in this webinar too. All right. Lots of questions. So I'm just gonna keep answering them because it seems like that wasn't clear. So if we don't want to change your references, will the second round programs have access to your original references? Yes, they will. It will be very similar to just applying to a new program where, as if this were February 15th, and you were just adding a program in the program designation section and submitting. It's just like that. So, Daisy, all you do on the second round is you log into D&D Digital. You see the spots that are available, and then you can apply to those through DICAS and do that as soon as possible. And last question, should we reapply to an internship we applied to and did not get matched? Priority Nutrition in particular. Yes, I would, just to see. They'll see that you're very interested in their program, and also that you are still trying. And I don't, I think it's up to the discretion of the director. I think they'll look at all their applicants again, and if you're still high on their list, even though you didn't make it the first time, then it's good. I don't think it hurts to reapply. And then, yes, you should rewrite your own another personal statement, make it unique to the program. And yes, you can apply to multiple programs during second round. You just have to pay application fees for each one. All right. Let's move on to the next option, which is Individualized Supervised Practice Pathway. Longest name ever. This is an ISPE for short. That's what I call it anyways. And people are very scared of ISPEs. And I don't know why, because I love them. I think they're a fantastic option. They do take a little bit more work up front, but this is where I find that people that aren't matched have a really strong chance. So the overall story about an ISPE is that you are only eligible for an ISPE if you do not get matched to a program, or I think if you're a PhD student or a PhD in general, then you have this option as well. But I don't think that that's very many of you, so we'll just go with the fact that you didn't get matched, so now you're eligible for this ISP. Now, these are similar. They're all kind of different. I think like the hardest part about understanding an ISP is that each program like designs theirs and designs how you apply to them and the timing of everything. Like it's all so different. So it's hard to give you like the full story because each program varies. So in general, most will require that you do find your own preceptors. So then at that point, it is very similar to a distance dietetic internship, but not all require you to set up your own rotations. Some are on site, and you go to that program and you do that ISP on site, and then that feels like a regular dietetic internship. And then, you know, in terms of like what preceptors you need for that, it varies based on the program. Just like with distance dietetic internships that vary based on, you know, do they want you to have your clinical only, or do they want you to have like 6 different kinds, 3 different kinds? You know, it's just so different. So you really want to look at each one individually and see what will work for you based on what they require and cost and all sorts of things like that. The cool thing about ISPs is that you can get paid. That's a fun fact I like to throw out there, since I know that finances can be an issue for people. So you can get paid for your rotations, whereas in a dietetic internship, that's not possible. And I'm assuming that they have not changed that rule in the last year, because that's how it's been since ISP started. And this is also great for people that have previous experience in dietetics, because you can apply that prior experience towards your 1,200 supervised practice hours in an ISP. It's like a little bit more flexible. So you will, it's nice because then it might take you less time to do the ISP. All right, so to answer some questions that I maybe didn't get, so I said they are, some of the ISPs can be similar to distance, so we covered that. You have to just go and contact each individual ISP in order to really get the full story. Debbie is asking, will ISPs be on the release list? Yes, so ISPs have the option of being added to the second round list, and not all ISPs will do that, but some will. And so you might see that on the second round list, and then you will apply to them through DICAS. But again, I cannot say this enough, that you do need to talk to each individual ISP and get the full information from them, because it really is not like as standardized as the dietetic internships are, where it's like, okay, DICAS, you know, pretty straightforward. It can be different, especially if you have to set up preceptors, then you know that there's more details to all of that. And then do you have to have a GRE score to do an ISP? Again, varies depending on the program. So I can't really answer that. Or I mean, I guess I can. It varies throughout the different programs. Should we talk to the ISP before the 7th? Yeah, you can reach out. You can actually, and I was just going to get to this. We're going to talk about finding preceptors, but in terms of like where are the ISPs listed, you can see those now. So you can go to the Academy's website and go to the accredited programs. I think it's under like becoming an RD or the career area. And then just like how you can see like the list of dietetic internships. When you go to that list, you can filter, like show me the ISP options or show me programs with the ISP, with an ISP option. You click that filter, and then it'll show you the ISP programs. You can do that on both the dietetic internship listing and the coordinated program listing. So coordinated programs will have ISPs. And coordinated programs are like where people do their DPD plus the internship, but they have ISPs as well. So even though you have your DPD done, you can still do an ISP through a coordinated program. whoa, that's a lot of info. But again, go to the Academy's website. You'll be able to filter the ISB option and then start to research and see those. And then, of course, second round, we'll have some ISB options on there as well. All right. So finding preceptors, very complicated. People are, again, very scared of this, but it is so possible to find preceptors. I get really sad when people say they don't even want to try. I feel like that is, like, I've seen people just immediately email like 3 of their contacts from where they worked or just people they know, and like all 3 say yes in a day. And it's like, it could be that easy. And I'm like, if you don't even try, I just feel like you're missing out on that. So, and then of course there's the other end where people email 100 people and don't get yeses. So yeah, it can be difficult, but it is totally possible. And a couple tips here. Iowa State is a really good program that has a nationwide option, a distance option, and they have some great resources on, oh boy. Okay, I don't know if you can still hear me, but it said that I was disconnected. Oh no. Hi, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I am trying to get back on my internet and I cannot get back on. If someone could like email me to say that they can still hear me, I'll just keep talking and go through the slides, and then if you guys have questions, you can just email me about them. But I am really sorry. I don't know why I cannot get back on my internet. very bizarre. So I will look for my email to see if you guys can still hear me, and then we'll keep going if that's the case. Oh my gosh, you guys can hear me. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, at least we're still together. I am really, really sorry about this, and I still cannot get on my internet, and I have no idea why. I've never not had internet in my whole experience in my apartment. So, I'm just going to keep talking and keep going through the slides, even though they won't change, and I will send you guys the slides. And I will, I might even just like re-record this anyways, and send you guys the recording as well. So totally up to you if you want to stick around. I, again, really apologize. And then if there's questions and you just want to email me directly, I can respond to that. So I apologize. But if people are still on, not even sure. I'm just going to keep like trying to be on the internet, but otherwise I'm going to keep talking. And I want to just finish up on individualized supervised practice pathway. I think what I was just saying was that, finding preceptors is difficult, but it's possible. So there's Iowa State distance, and then there's Priority Nutrition Care distance that have awesome, resources on how to talk to preceptors and ask them, explain like what you need, and then just different resources on where to find them, who to contact to figure that all out. And then a really interesting tip that came up on the support group was they would say like ask older students from your DPD that applied to distance, like ask them who they had and start to recycle preceptors because, if we can all kind of help each other there, then it might not be so hard if we can start to identify and share the preceptors that we've used. All right, so then the next thing is graduate school, and graduate school can be an option if you don't already have your master's, of course. You can start a program. Some students in the past have gone to a graduate program and then applied to their dietetic internship, which was really strategic because they were able to get to know the facility or the faculty. And when people know you, and if you're a great person, they, sometimes that really helps when they're thinking of who to accept to their internship. So not to say that that's automatically going to help you, but it is something that could help. So graduate school is a really good option. And then the next thing is to look into a job, finding experience or a job where you can use your degree and, try to do something where you have a lot of responsibility. I know students will say like, well, what's good experience? Like what helps in the process? Like if you do reapply it, what are they looking for? And I always say clinical is always a strong experience just because that's what so much of the internship is for many programs. So working as a dietary aide, a diet tech, we'll talk about, you can get your DTR exam, and, just anything where you have a high level of responsibility or leadership. So you don't want to just do more shadowing because that's not that, hard. It's not that hard to shadow, let's be honest, but it is hard to work in a hospital kitchen or do patient surveys or, just like things that are more internship-y. So you want to think like what's the highest level of responsibility in a job that I can get or volunteer position and then go towards those. And then the the other thing too is like if cost is an issue, then you can make money, get a job, and then reapply later. And so that would be another way to do it as well. Some non-nutrition related or non-RD related jobs that you can get would be like food service supervisor. That's really good. And food service management, they hire non-RDs. And then also sales, which is kind of cool just in terms of like different skills that you can get through a sales position. But like a health food company or somewhere in the food industry, that's possible. And then another really popular one is people will go work at WIC or Head Start or any other public health program as like a nutrition assistant or something, or a nutritionist at WIC. And that is also really great, relevant experience. Oh man, I might be able to get back in if anyone's still in the webinar. I don't know. All right, let me just see. And then it's still going. Oh wow. Oh great, you guys. I think I'm back. I don't know. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh, come back. Oh, I can't even tell you how this is so annoying. I'm so sorry again, but all right, we're back. So DTR, let's see where I was. Okay, so these are the non-RD nutrition jobs. And then, yes, I see in some comments now, Jessica, you're applying for local WIC positions. That's perfect. And, you know, just anything that has a high level of responsibility. Again, you're just trying to, you know, show that you're prepared for a dietetic internship. So anything related to that will be key. And then there's the DTR programs. In the support group, they were talking about there's a DTR study group, Facebook group. And there's people in there that kind of share tips on how to pass that exam. And there's a lot of people in similar situations, like where they haven't been matched and they're trying to do things. So that's a cool group, subgroup kind of, that you can look into to do that. And just to answer the question, what are the requirements for the DTR? It is exactly what you said. So it's just the bachelor's in nutrition, and then you're able to take the exam. And then that helps just with the type of job you get. So you can go be a diet technician, and that's a really awesome experience to have on your resume. All right. So then, you will still be able to practice at a professional level. It'll allow you to get more training. Also, it really confirms for people, like, if they do want to do dietetics. And I know you're like, well, of course I want to do dietetics, but it is nice to keep working in the field just to make sure that this is the path for you. And, you know, it's just a really good thing. It will improve your competitiveness as well. So I always, like, when I'm coaching a student that has a DTR, I always mention that, you know, this is proof to the director that you can pass a national board certification, which is what the DTR exam is. So that will make them more confident that you can pass the RD exam because you have this experience with it. All right. And then retaking classes is another thing, although this is definitely not my top 2 or 3 things that I think you should do. The problem with retaking classes is that it doesn't really change your GPA that much. Like, you can do the math on it and you can say, well, if I had an A added to this, like, how much would my GPA go up? And it really is not a lot. When you're going into diecast and you're doing the diecast grades, you have to put in all attempts. So you have to say, you know, that you got the C and then you got the A or the B. So both will be in there, and that means then it just averages out to a B. So it's like, you know, it just doesn't do a lot. And I think there's other things, like I think the experience you could do, you could spend more time on that versus spending your time on the classes. If you do think that, there's just a couple that you're like, it would just look good, or like if you got a D or something, or if you didn't meet a requirement, like some programs require a C or higher on all your DPD classes. If you didn't get that, then yes, I would say retaking a class in that situation would help, because then you'll literally meet the requirements for it versus it like boosting your GPA a lot. So in those cases, then yes, that would be good. And there are a lot of online schools that will offer DPD classes. Popular ones are Kansas State University and then University of Alabama. They have some, so you can do online, which can be more flexible. And then, of course, your own school. If you had a DPD, you could obviously go back to them. All right. So, I see Gigi got her question answered there. So, yeah, it said, in order to maintain fair procedures, we ask that you do not contact programs prior to Thursday, April 7th. Great. Thanks, Stacy, for that. All right, and another question. If you were to get the message on D&D that you were on a prioritized list, do you think it would be appropriate to contact all the directors that you ranked saying you were not matched, and if there was a vacancy that you would love to jump to the opportunity? Whoa, great question. I don't think you should do that. They will see the programs that you applied to will see you on that list. So there's no need for you to contact them and do that. I get like why you would think that'd be good, but it's a really crazy time right now, and it actually is just not encouraged to be bothering those programs. It just seems like it would be like leave a bad taste in directors' mouths. So I would say don't do anything on there in that regard. And then with the prioritized list, what she means is that like you were on their you were on their list, but you didn't get a spot. That is a little confusing, because it's like, well, you should have maybe gotten on there, but you weren't. The spots filled up, I guess, before. So then you're on the prioritized list for programs that do have openings. Right. Yeah. So Kristen, if they prioritized you, they probably won't be participating in second round anyways. Correct. So you're prioritized for second round options, not for the program that you applied to. Because if you were on their list, you should have gotten matched there if they still had spots open, but you didn't. So because the program was full. So now you're on the prioritized list because you're considered a strong applicant. And so other programs will want you because you were considered a strong applicant for those programs. Oh, disconnected again. I cannot win. All right, we're almost done here. Try to get back on. This is so sad. I don't know what happened, but all right, we are almost done. So I'm just going to wrap up. The retaking the classes was kind of the last thing there. And then the final thing that you can do is just have a game plan for the fall. So in the fall, they have options that are open. I would say maybe like 30-ish% of what's available, 30 to 40% of what's available in February is like what's available in the fall. In September, late September is the deadline. My 3 best tips for applying again are to, number 1, look at distance programs, because, it's not that they're easier to get into, but they take more people. And, a lot of people don't want to find preceptors or do that. So it just is not as popular of an option. So I would say definitely look into that. Look for programs with lower GPA requirements. Because even if you do meet the requirements, like let's say they have a 3.2 requirement and you have a 3.2, well, maybe you should look for programs that have a 3.0 or a 2.75 requirement so that you're like well above it versus barely meeting the GPA requirement. I also look at like the average GPA of current interns there, and I see like if it's a 3.8 average GPA of current interns, like if I have a 3.2, I am not applying there, even if the requirement is a 3.0 or something. So you also want to look at the, that aspect. Like just because the requirement is a certain amount doesn't mean that you're automatically competitive. It's like look at who they actually take and then go off of that. And the third thing is to get more help. So obviously, the more help, the more energy, the more resources, the more you invest into this, I think it does make it worth it. So, getting more help, taking more time to do everything, getting more personalized help, like all of that is really helpful. And, obviously our coaching will do that, but even if it's your advisor or getting someone else to help you is really key to this whole process. I don't think people can go alone in this and be successful. I just have never seen that. They're getting help from people no matter what. So that is that. So then I guess it's just, just to wrap up, it's the second round will happen on, I believe that's Thursday. And then you'll have like a couple days you'll want to apply within Thursday, Friday, Saturday to the program if you can. And then you'll see ISPEs on there as well. So that'll be an option. We already know there's going to be those available. And then just start applying. And remember to talk to those individual programs that you're interested in and make sure that you're doing exactly what they want, because that will be a little bit different depending on the program. So I think, trying to think, and then once if the ISPE in the second round don't work out for you, then you want to have a bigger game plan of, do I get more experience? Do I get my DTR? Do I retake a class if I want to meet a certain, requirement, and then decide, and have some more time to figure that out. So then the last thing I will share is just that if you do need help with coaching, we do have April coaching options available. So they kind of vary depending on your needs, but we can also just try to accommodate whatever you're looking for. So right now we have, and I'm back in here by the way, but we have the resume and personal statement. But if you only can change your personal statement, then we can just tweak that package for you. And then if you apply to things like ISPEs and they do allow you to change your whole application or apply offline, then we can do something for you as well. But if you have questions or want like some unique type of help, let us know and we can probably come up with something for you. It is just because it is so weird and there's all these different situations I have these two packages, but that doesn't mean we can do other things just based on what your application is like. All right. So thank you so much for sticking with me. I know I think the majority of you all stayed on, so I really appreciate that. Shows how dedicated you are to getting an internship. That was all just a test. So again, I apologize for all of that, but let me just see if there's any remaining questions, or if you guys have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Caitlin, yes, we do help Canadian students. We have helped a number of them in the past, so you can email me or just respond to like the webinar invite or something, and I can talk with you about that. Let's see. Sarah is asking, do you have already set up preceptors? Oh, do you have to set up preceptors already to apply to distance programs in the second round? Sarah, yes, you do usually. So, and sometimes they'll say we just need your first one. Sometimes they say we just need your clinical. Sometimes they say we need all of them. So what I would be doing now until the 7th is looking for preceptors, if that's what you want to try to go for. So looking for preceptors and then going on Iowa State and Priority Nutrition to get some ideas would be good. And then the Academy has a tool for finding preceptors as well. Raina is asking, how likely are you to get an internship through the school where you attended your DPD? Any priority as an alum? hard to say. I mean, some programs will say we give preference to our alums. Other times they don't say anything, and then it's just kind of up to the program. There's not really a rule on that. So it is, if you have good relationships with the program and you know people and you have strong references from the program, that always helps, but it's not guaranteed. Sarah says, if you are on a prioritized list, is it okay to ask how to improve your application? Yeah, Sarah, I would ask the directors about how to improve. That's a really great point. I just would not do that until a couple of weeks later, just to let everything kind of settle down and then follow up, and that can help you determine your plan if you don't do the second round or the ISB option. Great idea. I didn't even think to mention that again today. Emily asks, do you mind telling us what you think was the main thing that set your application apart when you got an internship? Emily, now this is like it's a sad answer, but I think that GPA is still like driving a lot of the competitiveness, and that's so sad to me, because I think there's people out there that maybe they don't have the best GPA, but they would make amazing dietitians. So I do think, I think I had like a 3.8 GPA. So I think for me personally, like that probably helped. It definitely helped me just rise up. Like they're going to still weigh your GPA and your experience and like your whole application, but I think that is still like one of the more important things. And then I find that people that have lower GPAs, they end up doing ISBs and distance programs, and they can do those successfully. But in terms of like the conventional dietetic internships, they're so competitive now that GPA just tends to be like a huge thing. All right. It looks like answer all the questions. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with me. You're awesome. Do not give up. I can't even tell you again, people apply 2, 3, 4 times. They get in. The ISB is an amazing option. I want to encourage you all to really spend some time on that. And, I wish you all the best. Please email me if we can help you with coaching. Even if you wanted to work with me, I'm sure we could figure out something like a short-term package, and or in the fall we'll have like all our options available for that again. So just let us know how we can help. Good luck with everything, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Stay positive. Thanks, everyone.